it going out there? Everybody doing good today? We'll come at you with another catch-up video. Seems like that's about all I do anymore are catch-up videos. Maybe I'll do a mustard one before too long, but I have been watching everybody's video. That's wrong. I have not been watching everybody's videos. I'm lying. I've been watching a lot of videos. There's no way you can watch every single video they put out. So, thought I'd just do a real quick, and again, you know me, real quick catch-up video. Currently, I was, everybody knows, well, you may not know, I was out in Amarillo driving for 3 or 4 weeks out there. Then I went back to Tulsa for a couple of weeks. Of course, the main reason I went back was to move my daughter down to Texas, which she's doing absolutely wonderful down there. This will be her first weekend to go to her National Guard drill weekend, and we're kind of apprehensive, we might say, just because that now she's down there by herself. And again, she's not by herself. She's living with, her friend and her mother, renting that room from them, but she'll be driving. It'll be about an hour and a half drive, and she'll be driving it by herself. So, and she's driven, in the past couple of months, 4 or 5 hours at a time, but she's always had one of us in the car or something. And so anyway, I'm sure she'll do absolutely wonderful, but kind of makes you apprehensive the first time after a big accident like that. So I am back in West Texas again. I am in Lubbock this time. I will probably be driving mainly for out of Slanton, Texas, which I believe it's about 10-15 miles from here, and apparently this is about the closest place they could get me a room to stay. So they're saying I'll probably be here in the 3 to 4 week range. And so who knows where I'll end up. Keep an eye out. And they said one of the locations I will probably be hitting will be Sweetwater, which might be a little bit closer, Derek, so watch out. Anyway, I don't know where I'll be going, how long I'll be staying, but I do know that I can't stay too much into October and if you follow my channel and paid attention, which there may be 1 or 2 of you, which I don't expect. Again, I know how it is on YouTube. I can't watch everybody's video, every single one of everybody's video. And you skip 1 or 2 and you're going to miss something vital. I say vital, miss something that connects video 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. And so anyway, when I got this job here, driving these railroad crews around, I had said I was trying to get a couple of different jobs, and this one wasn't really the one I was hoping for. It was what was offered, and so I took it because I had to have some cash coming in. I needed some payroll dollars, and so I said, this is going to be my gateway job, my step-up job. Well, I've got another job now, and conditional, because I've got to do a week's worth of training, and then at the end of the training, not only do you have to pass a written test, but you have to pass a physical, which they say they do a very stringent physical with very stringent back exams, including x-rays. And then they do I cannot remember, not isotoner, isokinetic, isometric test, core muscle group test or whatever, where they put you on a machine and you gotta, use your right arm, your left arm, your right leg, your left leg, use your, your back, forcing this machine up to a stop, down to a stop, do so many repetitions, and it measures your strength and calculates it. So you gotta pass that. You gotta do a hang test, not hang test, but hang on test. That way, if you're climbing up on something and you're grabbing a bar and your foot slips, how long can you hang and all of that. And so I can't imagine not passing all of this test. When I talked to the recruiter called the other day, when I talked to him, he said just work on your upper body strength until the training class comes up. So currently I've done all of my background, I've submitted all of my background test and drug test and, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's a training class coming up like the 3rd week of October. He says it's almost full. He says if we get all your background tests and they check your driving records and everything, and we get all of that done, and there's still a spot open in the October class, we'll put you in that one. If not, you'll go in the next class, which will be sometime in January. He didn't say, but it sounded like it'd be the first or maybe the second week of January is what it sounded like. The first half of January. So I don't know, but it will be working on. It will be another railroad job. Only this one I can actually make a little bit of money at instead of the one I'm working at now, working for, almost free. I always said with this job, I'm not even making peanuts. I'm making peanut, one peanut at a time. So maybe I can move up to working for peanuts, and so, but it'll be working on this company. This company's called Loram, Loram. If you want to do a YouTube search, they got some incredible machinery out there. Their home office is based in Canada, but they've got a big manufacturing plant in Wisconsin. No, where is it? Minnesota. Wisconsin, Minnesota, whatever. They both start with, oh, no, they don't. Anyway, and so that's where they do all the manufacturing and their training. And I'm kind of wondering if they have a Canadian office just so they can, for tax breaks or tax reasons, whatever. So anyway, they make what they call MOW, or maintenance of way. They make rail grinders. They make all the gravel that's along the tracks. They make the machines that scoop that gravel up, clean it, and put it back down, and ditch diggers so you get drainage, because you got to have water running through the gravel and down a ditch, and draining so it doesn't deteriorate ties and blah 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 blah. But most likely, I will be assigned to what they call a rail grinder. Basically, it's like a grinder. Like you go into a shop and you have a grinder and you grind metal and sparks go everywhere and you shape it or resurface it. That's what they're doing to the rails. And so, and they say, it takes deformities out, makes it more uniform. So they not only get longer life out of the rails before they have to replace them, and I'd never even thought about this, but they say it's more fuel efficient for the locomotives running down. They'll get better gas mileage, better fuel economy, shall we say. And so, I never even thought about that. So again, this is all a whole new world to me that I'm learning. But he said with my background, he knew that I would, as a teenager, I'd grown up, it's a new word, grown up on a farm and operated, tractors and combines and, dump trucks and stuff like that, pulling equipment and implements. And he said, have you got any hydraulic experience? I said, well, no. He said, tractors don't have hydraulics? Well, yes, but I don't have if a hose would bust, we would go back there. We would replace a hose. They were 15, 20. There's not like these 100-foot hoses or something running up a boom arm and down to a bucket or something like that where you cut an end off and put a new end off. We'd take the hose off, throw it out, put a new hose on. He says, that's hydraulic experience. Okay, I think you're reaching there. He says, you got electrical experience? No electrical experience. He says, well, didn't you, you said you worked for this IT company where you ran data cable. Yes, that's not electrical. He says, did you work construction? Yes, but I didn't do electrical. Yes, I would drill holes and, studs and run electrical, but I didn't, I would typically be running wire and somebody be going back behind hooking up, switches and outlets and lights and hooking it into the power grid. And data cable, we run cable from a computer or up a wall, across the, ceiling and down into a network closet. He says, that's electrical in our book. Okay, again, I think you're kind of stretching it there, but so, and then with my management experience, he said you shouldn't have any problem in no time short going up to a crew chief, and then shortly after that being a superintendent, where you're basically out there collecting a paycheck, watching these guys work, making sure they're working. If they need a major part or something and your parts guy's busy going somewhere else getting a part, you go get a part, or, whatever. But anyway, I'll start out on the tough side. I'll start out on the physically demanding. He says, this will probably be the most physically demanding job you've ever worked, and by far the most dirty. Because if you've ever worked in a shop where there's a grinder, you get all that grinder dust. And they're basically a train with grinding stones under there. It could be anywhere from 12 to 120 stones, depending on what the rail needs. And they pull two filter cars where they've got vacuum cleaners, so to speak, air intakes that suck as much of that grinding dust up, run it through filters, and try to protect the environment. He says, but it is still filthy, filthy, filthy. And he says they only promote from within the company. They never hire outside of the company. And he says, so everybody's going to start doing maintenance, whether it's changing stones, whether it's changing fluid, hydraulic fluid, whether it's replacing parts, whether it's, walking beside for, whatever, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles a day on a radio, letting the operator know that, this needs to be done, go deeper, go. And the grinder part, that's pretty much computer controlled there. But there's other things they've got to watch for. So anyway, that's where I'll start out. And he says, you'll probably be dead tired and incredibly sore for the first 2, 3, 4 weeks. He says, but it's not an unsustainable position. You'll be able to do it. And then I may be away from YouTube quite a bit once I start this, because I'll be on the road anywhere from, he says, probably 10 to 12 weeks at a time. They'll fly me to wherever that machine is, and then you'll run a 12 to 15 hour shift, and then you'll get in a van and ride 3 or 4 hours to a hotel room. That way, by the time that machine gets closer to you, you've got a short jump. You're going down the rail, all day long, 12, 15. So you'll probably be 12 to 15 hour shifts, and then you could be anywhere from, a half an hour to up to 4 hours ride to your hotel. So get good at sleeping while somebody's driving you around, which that's what happens to all my crew when I drive them around. 90% of them sleep. And he says, so you'll be on the road for 10 to 12 weeks, you'll go home for 2 weeks, and then you're right back on it for 10 to 12 weeks. And he says, probably not yet, but maybe in 6 months to a year, they'll probably be sending me out to Canada, to Mexico, because as they sell, he looked at my training background, which I've taught and I've trained before, but he says with that'll be a good step into when we sell a machine to a railroad, you can go with a crew there and help set them up, teach them how to use the machine, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I may not make it past the physical. I don't see why not, but who knows? I mean, people go to the doctor all the time for a regular checkup, and the doc says, hey, guess what? You're going to die tomorrow or something like that. And so, but anyway, so that's about what's happening with me. I'm going to be out here in Lubbock again probably for the next 3 to 4 weeks or so. If I do not get in that training class in October, I'll be back in Tulsa. Maybe this company just took over a big contract from another smaller company in Louisiana. So they're going to be looking for people to go down there to start setting up and getting routes and maps and all of that put together. So that's about it. It is rainy and cold. I can't believe it. It's like in the low 60s. Now that's cold when I'm coming from, mid to upper 80s. And it's pouring rain out there. Now I think it's drizzling rain at this point. It was pouring rain. So I'm not out smoking pipe or cigar. There is a little breezeway out here. I may be able to go light up here in a little bit, but I'm trying to get a VR or 2 out for a contest. So just thought I'd kind of give everybody an update, let everybody know what's happening. Here we go, another 15-minute video. I don't know how these guys do 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes video. It's impossible, at least for me. So anyway, that's about it, guys. I will catch you later. And I've got decent internet connection at this hotel. Can you believe it? And so I'll be trying to get some of these videos up and try not to overload y'all on one day. And I can't think of anything else. Oh, I'm sure I could, but nothing, relevant or pertinent. So I think that's about it, guys. I'm going to let you go. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging in. Thanks for keeping up. And we'll catch y'all next time. I appreciate it.